Hello everybody and welcome to day 5 of Coliseum of Chaos. I am Barney, and joining me today is...
Again, Laurie K. Lavinta. I'm glad to be able to help out today. We have a special day. It's Lavin's birthday, and since I wanted him to celebrate his day, enjoy with his family, I will be replacing him tonight. But it's a pleasure to join in with Uriel.
Happy to have you, man. Even though I really think you deserve a break after yesterday, but I'm always happy to have anyone joining me, and especially yourself.
Thanks.
But of course, before we do anything else, we actually I'll wait a bit. We'll do it a little later. Obviously, gotta sing "Happy Birthday" and whatnot to the birthday boy.
Are we doing it now?
No. Later,
yeah.
Probably later. We want as many people as possible to hear it, because I want the secondhand embarrassment to be as large as possible.
Yeah, I agree to that.
Well. Here we are. It's going to be a bit of a shorter day today, especially compared to yesterday. More akin to Thursday. We have I think, only 4 matches lined up today. So, we have, first of all, 3% versus Icarus as the first game today, followed by 3% versus Pure Luck, and then People's Hunters versus Restart, and People's Hunters versus the incredibly long name Polling to bring back Sister Rosaria's Holy Boobs, which, I mean, we all kind of agree with it, so, it is what it is. We might be ahead of schedule depending on how games go, or we might be behind, but it should be an interesting day.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I am amazed of your pronunciation of 3%. You're quite good at French, I guess.
I got an A star when I was in secondary school. Don't know where that went now, because I can't speak any of it anymore. Well, maybe a little bit. Other than, mon français est pas bon, which I think shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Moving along. Let's do a quick recap of the rules. Of course, every game is going to be a best of 4. To those who might be joining for the first time, yeah, this might seem a little bit weird. Trust us, it helps avoid, erroneous point distribution later on in the tournament. It's big brain, just roll with it. If you win, you get 3 points. A draw is 2 points, and a loss is 1 point. So, as long as you show up, you're getting points. So far, we have yet to hear somebody forfeit, but, hopefully it stays that way. But in the very rare event that somebody does forfeit, you get jack. And, of course, the rewards. Everybody is playing for something. This graciously funded by the community, for the community. 180 euros worth of Mog Station items, 70 million gil, a host of in-game items, and of course, hand-drawn portraits of your character. I mean, who wouldn't want to try hard for this?
Especially for the first place prize, that's the most valuable.
For sure.
Yeah, I've been looking forward for these games today because everyone is really trying hard to get that portrait of Tataru.
I mean, it alone is probably worth more than everything else in the first place position. And I mean, I'm really excited to see how it goes. Let's do a quick recap on the where the standings are for everyone. As you can see by these wonderfully, beautifully designed graphics, courtesy of both Kiwi and Dane. Of course, Dane currently feeling under the weather, shall we say. Everybody wishing him a speedy recovery. And we can see in Group 1 and Group 2, or A and B, because letters and numbers, haha. It's looking to be a little bit kind of interesting, actually. Aftermath and Aftermath, the first place leaders in their respective groups, perhaps not too surprising to many people, but following close behind are very, very, strong teams in Pure Luck, who will be playing today, that have 2 wins under their belt, and are the second rank in their respective groups. So, once there is a general group, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how some of the teams from each group interact with each other. So, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Same. Which team do you look forward to most to see playing?
I mean, I hear that the lads are pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't, they seem pretty, from what I've seen, they seem pretty good. But memes aside, I do think that I enjoy watching Pure Luck quite a bit. Neri taught me a lot about playing Melee, and I respect that a lot. And they have a lot of other really, really heavy hitters as well. Milk, obviously, right now, the current rank 1, I think, on Chaos as a healer. Very, very, strong team and great personalities all around.
For me, it's the third match that is really interesting to see, because I think it's the new teams against each other. And that will be an exciting one to see who comes out on top, because now it would be more even than against a more veteran team.
Mm-hmm. And of course, today is going to be maybe, somewhat less intense matches, perhaps, depending on how things go. We do have some of the newer teams showing up today. Pipo's Hunters restart, and of course, 3%. My tongue's gonna get very tired if I keep having to say that.
Lolo and I agree to just keep saying 3%, because it's just too similar like that.
Mm-hmm. But before we get in, everything is ready on the game's side. But first, let's just take a quick look at the teams playing first. And oh, this is the wrong screen. But now we will look at the teams playing today. And first up, 3%. So there you have it. Some of these we've seen before, obviously, as you saw at Ulrich, playing since a long time, quote unquote. It'll be interesting to see how they fare, especially Angsty, who is going to be playing that machinist. I do want to see some more aggression. I don't want to see concentrate. But playing against them in this first match is going to be our very own Lalare's team, Icarus. There you have it. Everybody is ready now. ready to go. It's going to be... Amazingly, for the first match of the day, we are going to go to the Feasting Grounds, not the Crystal Tower.
Wow, a second time? Amazing. I'm really looking forward to it now. Because yesterday we've already seen the dangers of such a huge map and the missing opportunity kite around your base. So if they're not doing right, we might see another base camp again.
This is a really old map that some really old vets might remember from back in the day. It's maybe not as unforgiving as Lichenweed. I think Lichenweed is probably the most unforgiving map, but this one is definitely a close second. It's so very open. There are plenty of opportunities to line of sight everyone, including your healer, who may not be very pleased with your performance.
But what's your experience on this map? Have you played back then?
Oh yeah, I played back in the day when Dark Knight could cast Salted Earth in PvP.
Wow.
But the developers evidently decided that the Earth was already salty enough in PvP, so they removed that ability.
What a bummer. Okay, going in, we see a combination of, I think, one of the first red mages, or am I wrong?
Yeah, this is probably one of the first times we've seen, one of the only times we've seen a red mage so far, but it will be interesting to see. Dragoon red mage, not my favorite combination, but the burst damage is absolutely insane, so Axo is going to have to try very hard to predict the bursts and mitigate them before they come out.
I love red mage for its power to help out the healer with the healing and really the nice movement you've got.
These tiny walls, they seem so enticing, but really they're actually quite dangerous. Anxiety now being burst there, the Protect being forced out, and the recoup. They didn't see a home gang yet.
They are fighting at the bridge. That's somewhere you don't want to fight. For both healers, it's going to be stressful.
Ooh, Adalric trying to hold on as much as possible, but he does end up going down. And now it's such a snowball effect. Unlike Crystal Tower, once you're in the base, this is it. There is only one way in or out of the base, so you have to be very, very careful. The kiting is actually a pretty good direction. You know, running up and back around and then to try and jump down. Definitely something that I want to see more from them. Now trying to go for a return burst onto Gabe, forcing out the Protect from Lolo, and immediately the return counter burst onto Anxiety.
For me, it looks like a brawl. Everyone is fighting in the open. It doesn't help if your samurai just doesn't have all the defensive, just the arm's length. I think a bloodbath would be much better in such a situation. Now they have to kite back, and they are fighting on the stairs, still not being able to LOS anything, taking a lot of resources.
Especially on those stairs. It's really hard to get out of there once you're in there. Now the dart coming out onto Anxiety. He is being kept alive by Axo. It's like, so far so good, but it is hard. The Nascent Flash helping out from Kuro as well. But everybody's so far out in the open. Adalric actually choosing to, retreat a little bit further away from the fight to maybe get some damage onto the Adrenaline. And I do think that both teams should pick up Adrenaline here.
Yeah, but still it looks so chaotic. Going now in cooling time, I don't see any really coordinated burst coming out of either team.
Indeed, the culling definitely helping out there with that burst onto Axo, and now it's going to be especially a snowball effect. But I love this pathing choice from Anxiety, running around the opposite side of the stairs, buying himself enough time for Axo to respawn, and now they're all back together again.
That was really good. Now they should kite back and try to get some room and relieve some pressure and get the steam engine rolling to reapply the pressure.
Finally picking up the Adrenaline, and both Adrenaline boxes end up going to the side of Trois Pourcent. Now Axel getting burst again with that Phantom Dart, but the very clever use of walls actually keeps him alive for quite some time. Now LB's coming out from all sides, from Gabriel onto Anxiety. He does get home ganged. He uses Recoup. He's barely able to stay alive. Hundreds of health. Is kept alive. The Protect, unfortunately, actually goes out onto the wrong target, but regardless of that, Anxiety does end up surviving nonetheless. And now
Oh,
there's a bit of a deathmatch happening.
Wow, Exo Sloppy Bear has been slept for quite a while, holding on that Purify, and still being able to heal up Entity again.
Oh, we got a limit break out onto Sice, but it was very, very cleanly healed by Lolo. The return counterburst onto Anxiety with the Phantom Dart, with the Inner Chaos on him as well. Don't run around that wall! Where's your healer at? Oh, such a shame. But they are holding out so long.
Definitely. Now, with so many medals on Icarus team side, what should Trapesan do to turn around that match?
This is definitely very hard because no one player is very easy to kill, but maybe I would just try to relieve some pressure by going onto the DPS. It may be tempting to decide to go onto the tank or the healer, but I like this choice to go onto the Red Mage. If you get the range, if you pressure the DPS down and you force them to use their resources, you automatically alleviate pressure onto yourself. Even this counterburst with the Phantom Dart is automatically less effective because Sice had to weave in Pots and Vacure.
I think with the Protect out, they should have switched target and not waste any more time, going maybe directly for the Warrior after everything was out.
The Chitin comes out from Adalric. He's going to need to be very, very careful here. Arm's length isn't going to be up for another 5 seconds at least. And as I say that, they immediately go into him. They recognize the opportunity. The wings are out from Axo. He is healing his teammate. The Nascent Flash, the arm's length comes out as well. And they are going to survive. But with only 45 seconds remaining, it's going to be very, very hard.
Yeah, I can agree. But
they got Sice! Bro, okay. Keep up the momentum. They're not wasting any time. They're going back onto Gabriel. That was actually very impressive.
It was very impressive.
They need to be careful here because Gabriel does have a limit break. He might try and use it to alleviate pressure. Sice has yet to use his limit break as well. He might look for it there. There it is. Does he hit? He hits only Kuro. But at this point, all Icarus needs to do is buy themselves time before the 3, 2, 1, and it's over. That was actually really good.
Oh yeah. It was really amazing to watch them brawling all the time in the open, watching a lot of kind of uncoordinated gameplay, but still managing to kill targets because we went in the cooling so far.
I'm opting to not talk about that damage chart because it's painful. Sice, you good, fam?
You switch up to Summoner, and now we have a Summoner Samurai combination.
This is a really, really powerful comp. And Lolo switching to his trademark Astro. Or, I don't know if it's his trademark Astro, but it sounds cooler if I add trademark in there. So, and he immediately draws the Lord card. So, this opener is going to be absolutely frightening. The instantaneous burst damage from Summoner is huge. Absolutely insane. Plus a Samurai Burst coming onto that. And if either one of them is fueled by that Lord card, plus the Inner Chaos from Oven, whoever they look at, they just have to look with angry eyes at somebody and they explode.
Yeah, Sloppy Bear has to pre-medicate a lot and try to predict the burst to really put the Protect on the right target at the right time. Especially when the stuns and the sleep will come out at a good synchronization, then a kill happens before you can even blink.
I do want to say, I still really don't like no concentrate on Anxiety. At least, maybe... I get the desire for recoup against the Warrior, but... I don't know. Concentrate gives you so much damage.
The feint of the Samurai makes up for it. I love how they're pressing both buttons at the same time, even though they are not really targeted.
And now the big burst coming out onto Anxiety. 32 health does end up going down. That's exactly what I said as well. Another Lord card onto Sice, making it just, such an easy kill. especially out in the open. Axo didn't even have time to react, but now he is the intended target. He's getting very, very low, super low, managing just barely to survive, making the smart decision to bolt up the stairs before casting anything to get that line of sight going, wasting some amount of resources from the side of Icarus, but really, they're just trying to get as many resources out of Axo so they can do a hard swap.
I love that Icarus looked more coordinated with this one, but Lolo Ray nothing able to heal Psych. Maybe Psych even holding off potions. The protect not use, it is a good kill for 3%.
For sure, for sure. They needed this to get back into the game. It's back to even. Now they're being significantly more aggressive. Holmgang and Gabriel in place, abusing the fact that he's not Dragoon anymore. Doesn't have the option to elusive jump.
I've seen a protect on Gabriel for some reason.
Adalric does predict the dart, does use arm's length in time. Very, very good defensive usage there. Managing to alleviate some damage, and they're wasting no time going straight back to Sice. The Adel does buy him some time, and the Drain. How much more? How much? This is just a death match, a back and forth death match.
Yeah, that's what this map is all about, isn't it? Just be in right open, those small walls that are not used, and a lot of line of sights.
Ooh, I really, really love that offensive usage of the Sword and Dash from Adalric, almost killing Sice in the process. But now Anxiety, he's being much more cautious about the line of sight. Axo's positioning is very, very good as well, making sure that he can see everybody on the battlefield while keeping a line of sight option between himself and Lolo. But Lolo just jumps at him and sleeps him right there, but Angsty's still staying alive, just barely. Limit Break goes out onto Sice and they get a kill again!
Wow, I didn't expect Psych just be standing there. I think you should stand a bit further away and maybe move around.
Damn. The Wolf's Heart does spawn. Let's see what happens. I love the Sorten again. Unfortunately, it does go to the side of Icarus this time. Lolo is going to be quite happy about that. Being able to spam out many more combusts, reduce the healing output of the enemy team. Very, very strong, especially if you have the mana to spare. But he does get slapped, is forced to purify. Unfortunately, Limit Break from Angsty doesn't hit very many people, and now the healer kill onto Axe, so they need to be incredibly cautious. They should be running right now. That was a choice. An interesting toss the Limit Break. If they can get Anxiety, it might be worth it, but it's not. They're still ahead because they do have a slight medal lead now of 25. But it's
I think
such
it's
a
a good
map.
idea to pressure Anxiety in this time, especially if your healer is dead and you go right on the range. They use their pots, they have to use their pots, and then when they're back, you just burst on them, and the healer is out of instant heals right away. Now going for the tank, I don't know if that was supposed to be a soft burst and hard swap, but I think still pressuring the range would be a good idea.
Ooh, they tried to go for a cheeky hard swap onto Adalric while Kuro and Axel were preoccupied, but I love the shake usage from Kuro. He only had about 1 second remaining on that rampart, and he decided to burn it for the extra shielding. Very, very good. Probably saved Adalric's life, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, definitely. But Adalric is quite tanky, so it was a good idea to burst down Anxiety now, because I think Asu is really out of resources. Look at that mana now. They're really starving. The warp side going over to Lolo Ray is just so good, denying so much potential for a comeback.
Especially, and you have to keep in mind that this is after Axo died. Axo had a full MP reset after he came back and already completely dry. 1 minute remaining. The only way that 3% can win is by going on to either Gabriel, Lolo, or Oven. Any one of them.
Definitely. It's still winnable, but the coordinated burst has to be really good right now to turn around this game. A surprise catch. Maybe now with Lolo Ray out of resources, but they've been bursting into the defensives. I don't think they will be winning right now because there's only 30 seconds left and they are under pressure again.
I think they're kind of scrambling. I'm not seeing very much sync here. They need to try and go for someone. Lolo getting so much value.
Oh, Sloppy Bear is having a hard time. The stairs going up and down. Imagine having to walk so many stairs.
Oh, God, no. My knees would buckle under that. They tried to go for the LB onto Lolo. They were actually quite close at it, but with only so many seconds remaining, it was only a matter of time. But still, that was actually significantly better, I think. They had a lead for a fair bit of that time, and they are taking all of these games to 6 minutes. So, really, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, the damage is also way higher than before. The coordination of Team Icarus is way better, and they will be happy to play the game of Team 3%. Team percent has to look out for these bursts. Lolorik going for Scola for a second. I think he is reconsidering for really trying to win this. I think Psych is going for Barb because it's his main, and they really try to snatch and secure this match for a good amount of points.
And this, honestly, is actually terrifying. Sice on Bard is very, very frightening. It's what people know him for, and it's, like, especially with the positioning that can be expected to happen on this map in particular, especially around the stairs area, everybody right next to each other, everybody stacked together. That Apex arrow is going to be huge value.
It's going to rip through the whole team. I mean, Sloppy Bear is sweating already. I can smell it. I mean, the way they have been playing is brawling, not really using.
He's too busy sweeping. Forgot that there was a match to play.
Wait, we have a peloton.
It's big brain time.
It's not big brain time, it's inventing the new Korean meter of the feast. Gaming.
An arm's length forced out of Gabe already. He did switch back to Dragoon just before the timer ran out. Now, Wildfire going out onto Sice. Unfortunately, the counterburst onto Adilric was incredibly fast and incredibly well performed. He didn't even have time to use his arm's length. Now, not wasting any time, doing that pressure onto Axo as well, forcing him back. And probably gonna go for another cheeky swap onto Angsty.
Oh, that was so good, CC Shining. The sled was purified, but the immediately silence of Psych was terrifying, bringing them in a quick kill on
Ooh, that was rough. I saw the purify animation, but it was he died just before it went off. Very, very unlucky, but very well played from the side of Icarus.
Wow, Psych is picking up the medals.
Brave. But even still, the medal distribution is such that Poppasant would need at least 2 kills in order to equalize this, which is exactly what you want to do. And Angsty is just gonna die to just raw pressure.
Wow, Icarus looking so confident.
It's a really it's such a different game. It's such a different game.
Yeah,
Sice on Bard is insane.
Yeah, the silence are so good. Always catching off Sloppy Bear.
Seems that they are trying to get this over and done with as quickly as possible, but even still, Poppasant are holding on. They're hanging in there, even if they're all just deathmatching in the base. So many flashing colors and lights. Who will come out on top?
Yeah, for being Poppasant, they're not giving up, and I can only say props to them.
Still, to be able to go to 6 minutes so consistently in the first little bit, it seems Icarus don't want to give them a chance to even breathe, and it's so difficult.
It's a peloton, I'm telling you. Like, they're running up the stairs with peloton, it's so fast, you just can't run away.
Imagine giving everybody a free bolt. It would be good, if only it didn't sacrifice any other additional. That will be the third and final match, sorry. A 600 in record time. And the damage shot does kind of speak for itself this time around. Woo! Damn.
I think first win for Icarus right now. They will be enjoying themselves. I think they're happy to take this.
I would, yeah. I mean, this, especially with the teams that they had to go up against, the last time they were up. This is good. This is fine. I think they're okay with this. I think they're happy with this. Still.
But on a huge map like that, taking Piloto might be even valid. What do you think? I mean, if you are able to kite, because on Crystal Tower map, there is not much room and use for Piloton, while on the Feasting Ground, there's so much opportunity for kiting. The Piloton might actually even pay off. What do you think?
I think it's actually. I think you're right, because Feasting Grounds is such a huge map. It could very well be a viable option, especially if you don't feel that you need any of the other additionals on that map. If you're in a winning position, especially, and you peloton everybody, and you're pushed into the enemy base, that's it. You're out. You're gone. They will not catch you.
Yeah, just play the Sonic music. And then we're going. Alright.
Well, even still, very, an incredible performance from both teams, especially 3%, because of their, lasting 6 minutes against a fairly veteran team, I think is really good. And even getting a few kills for themselves. So, big shout out to them. Very well played. And I hope they don't get discouraged and continue to play.
Hope every team is continue playing, giving their best, because a drawing by Totoro, man, that's like being a millionaire.
Mm-hmm. Well, next game has been is getting set up here. It will be no rest for the wicked. 3% versus Pure Luck. Talk me through how you think this one's gonna be.
It will be interesting, I guess. Depending on how they will pick up the pace and maybe change up things, it may even get them a good victory this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pure Luck is a good team, but they can be defeated with a good synchronization and teamwork.
For sure. And especially because I personally know from having scrimmed against them a couple of times with my own team, they have this flexibility to them where their team comp can vary from anything from their max tryhard comp, which I mean that is my given name for it, so it's a great comp, don't get me wrong, it's just a pain to play against because they're very good at it. Seeing Neri on Samurai especially is one of the more frightening things to go up against. But Neri has been known to dabble in healing recently, Neri White Mage, and dare I even say it, Neri Dark Knight.
That sounds like a cursed moment, honestly. Neri Dark Knight. I expect him, usually you would say on Samurai he's like the unkillable demon king, while on Dark Knight he would be like the killable demon without the king.
Gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see. They'll probably try doing, they'll probably try switching it up to see how they can perform with their different, different team comps. Seymour especially, usually for people who have only been playing recently, might know him from Black Mage, but he did actually play tank back in the day, and he has been, getting back into the swing of playing warrior. And it's every single time it's getting scarier and scarier. So, while we wait for everyone to come in, let's take a look once again at the teams that will be playing. First up, 3%. And of course, their opponents will be the ever illustrious and never lucky, ironically so, Pure Luck. So there you have it. We are going to... We are currently in a bit of an interesting position where neither team has agreed on a map. One team wants one thing, and another team wants another thing. I'm not sure how to proceed.
Which map would you like to see?
Well, I think that anybody that votes for Lich and Weed is insane. Actually insane. I think Lich and Weed is bad. But, you know. Yeah.
Well, we're here for the viewers' entertainment, that we want to see people deleting each other, or are we here to actually have a competitive tournament?
Can't I be both? I think I will have to do a coin toss. Yep, I'll have to flip a coin.
Okay, I say head is Lich and Weed, and I say tail is Crystal Tower, and you throw the coin.
All right, here we go. All right, flip a coin.net.
I can't believe you don't any coin. Wait.
Imagine having a coin. Best of 3? We're off to Lich and Weed, lads!
We're off to Lich and Weed. Let's go. Time for some insanity.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Ah.
No, I will be looking forward to pushing into the enemy base with no kiting, no stairs, nothing, just plain base camp. The tree will be deadly as usual. The huge walls will be a pain for the range, and everyone will be having fun, especially me.
For sure. We are going to have a little bit of a dispute, just because there might be some valid reasons for why we can't go to Lich and Weed. I'm just sorting that out. Apologies for the wait, everybody. So
yeah, this situation happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
As long as we see some exciting match, either on both maps, just no matter which map, I think everyone can endure the wait.
In the meantime, I think. It is somebody's birthday today, I do believe.
What could it be? I think my favorite community member, the one who is well known, the one who manages such great communities, is a moderator on PvPizer and is so knowledgeable about the game, knows everyone in Nook and Cranny, knows secrets, knows the black market of fees. It is the one and only London Electricity.
Happy birthday, Levine! You are 1 year older! Congratulations! You win age!
I think he won a little bit of more how do you say, wrinkles and wisdom. Do you gain much wisdom by playing Feast? I think so. Maybe I should encourage you to sing with me, like I sung with Lolo yesterday.
Very well. It might be a little bit tricky because of Discord latency, but I'm willing to give it a shot. All right.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Levine.
London and Black City.
Happy birthday
to you. Okay, let's go. Now we accepted one.
Yep. Big pain. But we are ready now. There was a little bit of a delay because we had to sort out what a dispute. We will actually be heading over to not Lichenweed, but to the feasting grounds once again. 3% did win the coin toss, so they got to choose the map regardless. And here we are. Here we are.
Oh, I'm so excited. Another feasting ground. Another peloton, I hope so. Maybe they should pick it up.
It would be interesting to see that for sure, but Meryl has opted for the much safer concentrate choice instead. Something that I still would really like to see from the machinist. I really like it lines up with drill. Come on, it's so good. But it does seem that Pure Luck will be leading with their, in my opinion, strongest comp. Neri on Samurai, Milk on that White Mage, Meryl on the Dancer, and, of course, Seymour on the Warrior. I'm scared.
That's going to be really scary for the enemy team. Neri opting out for only Bloodbath. Do you think they are more than confident to go without arm's length?
I think I like this. It's much more aggressive, and the Feint can enable many more kills. I think that Neri wants to keep the Feint against an opposing Samurai because it can be quite tricky to kill him otherwise. The big technical finish hitting everybody on the side of 3%. Anxiety, Holmgang behind the wall, unable to move! Ooh.
The moment you see they're all gobbling up around your range, you want to use the Protect. I mean, if you are at CC to death, at least go off and pray that the pots are enough.
And it's especially difficult. Adalric being quite aggressive. They're using Chiiten to buy himself some safety while going on the offensive. But now that it's gone, he only has arm's length remaining. The Tactician is going to wear off soon. Adalric stunned. The chain CC onto Axo. Slept and silenced back to back. Adalric had no chance there.
Dancer has so much fun there, dancing around while everyone is so close to each other on that bridge with no opportunity to get LOS and just do damage. Look at how much DPS is going out there just playing PvE.
Kuro does manage to survive for some length of time there. Unfortunately, the Rampart and the Protect were overlapped. Oh, this might be quite bad because Axo now doesn't have anything for himself and he's gonna go down! And now Kuro's Rampart is gone, he's home-ganged in place. And it's over before it even begins. Crushing victory.
A crushing victory indeed. I think they should have pushed a bit more, or fall back to the stairs, that at least some opportunity to LS and let the healer keep up with that kind of pressure, because they dished so much damage out. They didn't really need to coordinate a real burst. It was enough to pressure one target down. But now I would be rooting for Neri Dark Knight.
Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see it. I kind of want to see how Neri will play Dark Knight. It's actually like pretty good, and people meme Dark Knight, but if somebody's actually good at Dark Knight, then it's actually, you know, it can actually be quite good. So I would really like to see the Dark Knight.
Neri Dark
Neri,
Knight.
Neri.
Neri Dark Knight. Go!
I know you can hear us!
Yeah, I know you're watching this stream. If you're not going Dark Knight, I will be furious.
Big Sag. we'll have to see how 12% handle this next round, especially with the very, very well organized chain CC coming out from the side of Pure Luck. I think I want to see Axo use Purify on the burst target, because it will buy them time, it will allow them to use their own pots, because if you're gonna be CC'd for 4 seconds anyway, you may as well let your teammate actually act.
Yeah, just hover over your range and take care of them. I think the Samurai is quite capable of surviving, especially with arms length and cheating. Oh, the protect was really late.
Oh man.
No mana was spent, not even a single cast.
That's rough.
That's rough for a range. Like if you go out and you can't trust that you are alive, you're playing more scared as a range and stay even further back. It results in your team getting even more pushback and then the pressure piling on and on.
The counterburst does come out onto Meryl with the wildfire, but unfortunately there's not enough follow-up to actually make use of it. And now, the return counterburst from Meryl on her own machinist, getting very, very low. Adelric just barely holding on as well. It's such a back and forth.
Keeping up. They couldn't keep up at all. I think at that moment you have to kite around. If you know, oh damn, there is nothing on my healer. They should be communicating in the voice about if there are instants available and such.
For sure. The more that you speak with your team, the better it can be. Now, Pure Luck got what they came for. They got the Protect out of Axo onto himself, which means that they can go and bully Adelric and Angsty some more. Or maybe even go for the big target onto Kuro. If they can get this, it's going to be really bad, because then all they need is Axo to make this another 600.
Funny that Pure Luck was bursting a bit into the defensive. Like, they were a little bit too confident, but I think they know with enough pressure they even get Kurun and go down.
Oh, it's such a rough spot now. If Axo dies, it's another 600, but they don't even need to necessarily go on Axo. If they kill Adelric and Angsty one time each, it'll also be a 600. Being on the back foot like this is so hard. Again, Populson forced back into their base, and now Axo slept behind a wall.
It's already so rough. If you see Neri getting 150 medals, then you know Neri is the target, but at the same time, you know, he's so hard to kill because he kites so well.
That kiting direction was not great from the side of Populson. Kuro was left on his lonesome in the base, home ganged in place, and, well, an axe to the face, so...
Mary is having a good time. Staying in as a machine is just dishing out damage without really worrying about dying.
Why are you running? Where is your healer, Angsty? Angsty, run back, please!
I think they want to get the Wolf's Heart. The heal us is really low. They cannot keep that up forever, because even then, when you are so far ahead, and if you can't finish the enemy, then they might turn around.
Ooh, that ranged limit break once again, missing its mark entirely. Unlucky. I swear the targeting on that is rigged.
There's some fun in kiting back into Pure Luck space.
Well, I mean, it's the situation is different in name only, because really it's the exact same thing.
Have you seen NCT rushing the base? Such a diligent machinist.
Indeed, they're trying to get some damage onto Meryl. With only 100 medals, it's not going to be enough. Now the feint onto Axo with the big chain CCs. Down he goes. And that'll be another 600. However, they did drag it out for quite a bit more than they did previously, so...
I think they wanted to be sure to win this by getting the Wolf's Heart in the middle, not giving any chance for a comeback whatsoever. Because if I remember, there was a game with Aftermath where Spix even died to one single burst just because they were too overconfident. And Pure Luck doing, I think, the right thing by just staying focused and securing the win.
Now, it looks like there will be a few more changes coming out on the side of Pure Luck. Neri going for that Monk, Meryl switching to Red Mage. This is a frightening combination. Monk Burst plus Red Mage Burst? Woo!
I ask for Nary Dark Knight, not Nary Monk. What is going on, Ban?
He's sweeping. He heard us. He knows. He's sweeping. It's over.
That's some disrespect.
Wow. Imagine disrespecting not your enemy team, but the casters. Whose mans is this? Ah, the nerve of some people. Imagine. It will be interesting to see if maybe anything else happens here. It might be harder to be pushed out, but the Etheric Burst from Meryl, interesting choice. I mean, it could be good, especially thanks to his trying to go for those point blank wildfires with the blank, getting the extra damage in.
Yeah, but watch out for the flower going off in any second. I think Sloppy Bear has to be really careful that not someone is getting instant deleted.
Ooh. Now he's trying to bait out the defenses by bursting without using any buffs, and especially after the monk buff, it's very, very doable. Trying to go for a return burst onto Meryl. Now the Riddle of Fire coming out from Neri. He's going in, he's dashing onto Anxiety. Ooh, just barely surviving. He does commit 2 tornado kicks for that, so he's not going to have another one for at least another 10 seconds from this point.
That was a good positioning, LOSing Meryl to not being able to get finished off. So props to Anxiety.
Yeah.
The use of the small wall.
Definitely learning as every single round, getting better and better, more confident. They still haven't been pushed into their base, so this is already going much better. However, they're trying to pressure down Anxiety with the dart, with the Inner Chaos, with the Deer. Ooh, he will go down to the misery from Heal Us.
Slept was really good on Sloppy Bear. Couldn't purify that in time, and managing to get a kill on Anxiety will enable Pure Luck to push far into 3% space again.
Ooh, trying to go for the big burst onto Meryl. But the sad thing about Wildfire is that it makes it so obvious who your target is. Another Riddle of Fire coming out from Neri, going directly onto Kura. Will he go down? He does! Another misery takes it from Heal Us.
This is so stressful for Sloppy Bear. Being that all in the corridor, everyone is just using their AoEs, and there is no possibility to keep up with Q2.
Ooh, and it's so difficult. Especially when everybody is so in sync. Heal Us does get slapped, is forced to purify. Will it be enough?
Oh, they're running up the stairs again. Meryl is kiting up and trying to escape, but they're counterbursting and getting Altric. Having arm's length up and then dying just on the stairs, LOSing your healer, is a really terrible feeling.
Indeed, the match was so epic, it even killed my sound. Imagine.
Yeah, it always happens in Feast, doesn't it? Like,
I'm not even playing and it happens. What is this? Imagine. Even still, we will get to... At least I still have the visuals to come out. The double buffs coming out from Neri. The Brotherhood plus the Riddle of Fire going straight onto Axo, plus the Feint, committing everything, trying to go for a very, very risky play. The Wolf's Heart has spawned, but does anybody really care about it at this point?
Oh, Anxiety crashed, as we get to see.
Oh,
but,
no.
Apparently, it's alright, and it was just a short DC. So, how is your sound right now? Is the stream alright?
Well, they can hear us, but they can't hear anything else. Neither can I.
Wow, amazing. A new experience of the Silent Feast. It's just so much more peaceful and wonderful.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. I can fill in. Doom, 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 boom, doom, 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 doom,
Shik, shik,
boom, doom, doom, doom.
Yeah, we do those samurai Midare noises.
I can't do those. I want to, but I can't. Trying to get some damage onto Adalric as well with the Inner Chaos. We do get a Danger Time coming out here. The Chitin comes out from Adalric buying himself some time. He does still have the arm's length. Trying to go onto Meryl with the big Feint burst as well. Adal is still available. The Etheric Burst does hit both DPS. Counterburst onto Adalric with the dart. The arm's length is there, but is it going to be enough? Just barely, maybe? Ooh, Seymour trying to cancel some casts off of Axa with the Home Gang. the longer this goes, the more dangerous Neri becomes. Monk in culling is absolutely frightening, and you can see it's just getting so much, even with the Protect. The Cheetan is back again. Axo is going to need to try really, really hard, but now Neri not wasting any time, actually doing a hard swap onto Axo if he manages to take him down, and he will. And thus, the final 600. Do you wanna? Okay, there we go.
Angstoro was really out of everything. Could seeing Cooling 5 coming up soon. It's just so a no-no as a healer. You literally can just go AFK, get a coffee when it comes to that. Because anyone could die and you can't do anything in that moment.
For sure. But even still, I really do have to commend Twelve for their performance today. It takes so much, bravery and effort and willingness to learn to come out and face off against such, veteran teams. I couldn't be happier for them, honestly.
They've done well.
Yeah, we saw how in during the course of even a single match, they got better and better every single time, and it showed. Every single time they lasted longer.
Definitely, the usage of the wards and the experience on the map increases every time they play on it, and the utilization of the wards it just goes better and better. So now about the sound, are we restarting your game, or are you able to fix it?
Yeah, we do still have some time to kill beforehand, so I will end up having to, fix a few things here and there. While we wait, just a brief intermission. The next game will be actually pretty interesting as well. I think it will be the two newer teams, People's Hunters versus Restart. So this is going to be, I think, one of the more evenly matched games, and I'm very interested to see how it turns out.
Be excited. Get your popcorn and Doritos out. It's gamer time. Let's go.
Indeed, but before then, we will have a short intermission, so please forgive us for a little bit, but we are going to go for a relatively short break. We'll see you in a little while. And we're back, by which I mean me, because time passes, and is known to do so, and is sometimes even prone to getting away from us. So, let's not waste time.
There is no timer anymore on the sliders. It's quite surprising.
We'll get back to that, I think. Maybe there's a little something. Maybe we'll someday find out what's behind that timer. But for now, let's get right into the team presentations. It is, of course, going to be Peepo's Hunters versus Restart. So, let's take a look at Peepo's Hunters. And their opponents are going to be Restart. That's right! You saw it! It's happening! Nataya's actually playing today! Place your bets!
Legend! I'm so hyped.
Actual legend.
Everyone wants to see them to play.
Yes,
Everyone is behind our famous player, and as I heard, they have been improving lately.
It's definitely interesting to see. Unfortunately, it does seem that my sound issues have yet to be quelled. Ah, it's so unlucky. But we're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way yet again. I will ask for another restart after restart after this round to see where it goes. But for the meantime, I do think that we can talk about these teams. Actually seeing Nataya on Chaos is jarring to say the least.
I'm still excited. Lucy's still on Scholar, not giving up the difficulty. I hope they pick it up and become really good at it, because it's such a difficult job.
For sure. You have to be so much more predictive. You don't have the instant cast tools that you might expect from something like a White Mage or even an Astro. Nataya, of course, could be considered one of the pioneers of the press W playstyle, already going in, trying to do some big damage onto Laurelie, as trying to kite as well. The wildfires are finally coming out, wasting no time going onto Shulker, but they were prepared for it.
Yeah, but the burst is still going out. Good damage.
Very, very good damage indeed. Does commit some cooldowns for that, and you can see the aggression. This is exactly what we want, by the way. This is exactly how you plow. This is exactly how you play this job. You hold W, you just go in like a mad lad. And now, forced into their base, once again. Oh, the wildfire does come out onto Nataya as well. Ulterior. But unfortunately, they are ready for it, not able to do too much with this. Now, their own wildfire coming out onto Gina. It seems that they want to get a quick 600. Protector's there.
It doesn't seem look like it would we would be playing on the Crystal Tower. It's still kind of like the feasting grounds, whereas people just play in the open. Now it's time for a W again, the big flower, the indicator of someone going to die soon.
Ooh, it was so very close. Very well healed by Lucy. Altaria did commit a lot of resources there, now trying to get a return kill onto Shulker, but they are prepared for it, are able to even hold on to their protect, but maybe... Ooh, oh, they are forced to use it. Very, very timely fashion, and the return, the counter burst back onto Gina. One target remaining before the 600 occurs.
Restart really putting on the pressure, showing no mercy at all.
Oh, it's limit break time. You know who their target is. They're gonna go right for Skyshoe, and it's gonna be big. The double synchronized flower coming out. The raw destruction as well, but Shulker going so low, just barely. They are able to take Skyshoe down, and with that, a very clean, quick 600.
Very nice. We've seen... Wow, no pots used and little pot usage overall. That's some really interesting W style play style we are seeing there.
For sure, for sure. I will need a quick restart. Hahaha. And after I am back, we will be able to resume the match. Apologies again for the sound. I was hoping that it wouldn't occur again, but, you know, no such luck. So, short intermission while we wait. Let's talk about that match while I'm getting myself back in, huh?
Yeah, I found it interesting that Aluka wasn't using bind on Martians. I think it's such an essential additional to use, especially if you want to have a limit break that hits your target, or even just secures one burst at one spot so they don't kite and LOS you.
I do especially like the brute force approach from Altaria on that monk. Usually, people would expect one of two play styles, which is hard burst, fast hard bursts with fast and hard swaps, or the hold W. It's kind of a bit of a mixture of both. A little bit confused, one might argue, but overlapping big buffs like Riddle of Fire, like Brotherhood, and even adding in Feint as well, gives you the ability to have an absolutely insane burst window that could very well ignore Protect. And that is exactly what we ended up seeing in that match there, where people just didn't have an opportunity to react. Plus, with Brotherhood buffing everybody else in your party as well, it's often an understated, undervalued aspect of Monk, which is the Brotherhood area of effect buff. Being able to buff everybody else on your team, even if it's 5%. 5% on everyone is a lot. Plus giving you extra chakras, ooh, you can spam that bad boy all day and all night.
It's just so much damage going out, especially when Altaria is someone who really knows that they want to burst now, they are going to burst, they are not hesitant of using all their resources to kill their target. Really good damage output coming out there. I would love to see people hunters maybe capitalizing on the weakness that is the W playstyle and try to mitigate the damage and then strike back with a good counter burst, because Restart's healer is going to have a tough time if they manage to survive and kite well enough to desynchronize Restart's burst and then draining all the mana and resources.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. Plus, with the additional burst coming in from a machinist on both sides, that wildfire burst is incredible. And both teams are doing something that I would prefer to see. That I would have preferred to see from Anxiety earlier on in the day. Concentrate is such an improvement on machinist's kit if you take it. Every 15 seconds, you get Concentrate, which lines up perfectly with Drill. 3,000 damage is insane to be on demand pretty much every single time. It's very, very big.
I think they are playing.
Are they?
I think they are playing. Yes, they missed. I think they missed out that we are restarting.
Interesting. Well, that's awkward. Do we go on good faith or do we ask them to replay? Technical difficulties abound today. But, you know, hopefully we get back in. We get this all sorted out.
Maybe we pretend. And Atea's going in, calling a countdown on Lorelei. You see a Protect going out?
I mentioned this earlier, but it's kind of true. Natalia, pioneer of whole W, because they're very aggressive and they don't like to retreat, putting it lightly. Not always a good thing, admittedly, but in these types of matches, it is very, very good because you, especially with the body threat that Monk can output, just being close to somebody is terrifying because you can't see when their burst is ready. In a way, after the Tornado Kick buff, Monk is actually kind of similar to Ninja in some regards. Ninja is very powerful, of course, because you have no indicator on when they're going to burst, because their burst is all centered around their gauge. And Bava doesn't have a very long animation, shall we say. So it's always very scary to go up against a good ninja, because you never know when they can burst. And now that Monk's Tornado Kick is the same potency at 2,000, it's so much damage, and it can happen in the blink of an eye. You have to respect that.
Yeah, that's why so many people try to stop Monk by CCing them with a sleep or stun. It really helps to stop that insane damage coming out. So many monks really want to take the Purify nowadays. Without that, they are getting really stopped and the burst is getting misaligned. But I think it's not something you have to underestimate as a healer.
For sure. Respecting that is definitely quite important, and if you don't, it's gonna show, because people are gonna start dropping like flies. So, a little bit of miscommunication still occurring, but we will be back with the game shortly, I hope. Apologies for the delays.
Maybe we sing another happy birthday to Lavine meanwhile.
I don't think anybody wants that, if I'm being honest. But
yeah,
we can try talking about some of the other games that we have, had in the past while we wait. If we go back to the qualification screen and take a brief look back at the teams that have played, their standings. Some of these obviously have changed as of today, but for the most part, it's going to be very interesting to see the remaining games, I think, between each group. Of course, Pure Luck now with even more of a point lead than they had before. Hypno Squirrel is also another team to look out for. I especially, Zoid's Gunbreaker is quite something, and I would like to see him stop being a wuss and start taking Weapon Throw, because it's the iconic combination: Reprisal, Weapon Throw, Zoid, Gunbreaker. Come on.
Come on, yeah, I want to see that too, but I would go a step further and say, Zoid, let's go healer. He has been being on white mage lately on solo queue, and maybe the practice pays off, and we might see a new upcoming healer.
Maybe. I know that he enjoys healer when it goes well, but when it doesn't go well, it's the case for every healer. If it's going poorly, you just feel overwhelmed, and it's really, really hard to make up the difference. Of course, Phantom Pack did have a pretty good showing as well, for the most part, so definitely interested to see them as well. And from the group that my team is in, the lads, I honestly didn't think that we were this, sitting this pretty, but I guess we are.
Yeah, you're
I'm not
sitting
gonna complain.
on 0 losses so far. I mean, draws are always also welcome. Points are points, aren't they? And now with still many upcoming matches, there's a lot of opportunity to secure a spot in the playoffs.
Oh, it's gonna be so intense. I definitely need to practice some more. I'm not really too pleased with the performance that I've been having on stream. Making a fool of yourself in front of everybody. Unlucky, very bad. But I've been practicing. I've been asking for reviews. I've been doing my utmost because, like I said before, we are not just playing for ourselves. We are playing for Dane. So I'm trying super hard because there's nothing I would love more than for Dane to come back and be like, "Oh, we won." Huh. Obviously, I'm not idealistic. I may be, but naive I am not. I'm definitely very scared of teams like Aftermath and Aftermath, and I think that the next game, or one of the potential next games that my team will have to play against, will be Aftermath, which is going to be very tricky, very, very difficult for us. But I'm looking forward to it. And I'll be practicing my Dragoon again, because I'm too new to be washed at that, but I am. So, it happens. It's unlucky.
Yeah, but I think respecting every team is something you should do, not only Aftermath, because everyone has potential to still win and turn things around. I mean, there are plenty of games left, plenty of points to earn, and you never know who gets a lot of practice in between these official games, that they're building up that synergy, getting more and more better at the communication. And I would be so pleased when these underdogs will be upsetting any of the veteran teams here.
For sure. It's so interesting as well, and I'm of course very happy for Icarus, for Lolo's team to actually get some points on the board today. Having to go up against Aftermath in your first game is absolutely insane.
So having finally deserved it.
Yeah, well deserved. And I mean, they should have a somewhat easier time moving forward compared to the other teams. They got the hard one out of the way first, and it should be, it's good practice, I think, especially to get into the mentality of being able to lock down what you need to work on, because a team like Aftermath is absolutely going to... You're gonna find out your weak links real damn quick. So...
As a stage, we still... I'm a little bit stuck, and the communication is not going through. So, sorry guys, I think you have to wait a bit more for an exciting match.
I promise you, this isn't intentional, but we're trying our absolute best to do as much as we can. This is very interesting, and hopefully it'll get back on track beforehand.
I'm surprised there are so many live players participating in Coliseum of Chaos. I'm glad that they take the opportunity for some practice and get to know what LP is like, because we don't have an LP season as of late, and There is some really good opportunity to experience this.
For sure, for sure. It's pretty good. Overall, this is I think a really great way for the community to band together to really challenge ourselves and to push the upper limit of what just the general skill ceiling of this game mode that we hopefully all collectively love and that we enjoy playing, question mark.
Personally, I enjoy LP a bit more than solo queue when you have a team that you click with. Like if you manage to get a lot of scrims, if you manage to understand with each other and build that kind of synergy, it's so enjoyable.
For sure, for sure.
And I don't know how you feel like it, but solo queue is some experience that is more like improving yourself than improving together, and it's quite a lonely path in my opinion.
Yeah. Outside of this, solo queue is shall we say, actually no, I probably shouldn't say that on stream, but we all know how solo queue is. Let's not kid ourselves. It's a coin toss at the best of times, and sometimes it's well, Schrodinger's chaos tank. Do they win? Do they stay alive at the end of the match? Do they die at the end of the match? You won't know until it's too late. But it does seem like we have everybody out now. Everybody is ready to go, I would hope, and we can resume this from where we were previously. Hopefully, the communication stays as top quality as it has been so far. We will be getting back into the match right now. Thank you, everybody, for your continued patience. I hope that the match proves worthwhile.
Honestly, it's good practice for this team. They don't get to play many matches, so every more game is just improving their synergy together. So you can see it at that positive kind of side.
I'm actually I'm gonna cease my memeing for a little bit. I'm actually genuinely impressed with how far Nataya here on this character Alteria has come, because last season, even one season ago, they weren't playing the same way that they do now. They're actually so much better, and I really think that it's worth mentioning it, because it's something that you don't often see. We always say how people should strive to improve and get better and whatnot, but some people just don't take advice. Some people don't want to do that, and Alteria, very impressed with the performance, wasting no time, showing exactly how to do it. Ooh, almost killing through the protect, still going on Lucy, not wasting any time at all. 1,800 health. Oh, it's okay. Whew.
It's healer versus healer. It's like a typical unranked freeze game. I enjoyed quite a lot right now.
Oh, this is definitely not unranked. Alteria is playing much better than that, and it shows. Look at how much pressure has already been established. Lucy, no protect, no repose, with the wildfire on her, but the line of sight means that Alucard doesn't get the full burst. However, they're just going to do a really hard swap onto Laurelie, and down they go.
Sleep was detrimental. It secured the kill. I think Lucy had some still resources left, but the Purify was accidentally pressed, and so a good slap from Schalke.
For sure. It's very impressive, and I really like how this is going. This continued aggression. Alteria now does have the wildfire. Be careful with that wall! This is what I said earlier. They're really good at going in, but sometimes you go a little bit too far. Is it going to pay off? It does.
They're just putting pressure on Lucy. I think they want to abuse the weakness of Skola not being able to broil.
Woo! And again, with the really quick follow-up kill onto Gina. Now, with so much of the battlefield at your disposal, getting the adrenaline is a cakewalk. And now it's gonna be big LB time. One for each of the DPS on the side of restart.
Now I hope the Machinist hit his LB because there's no bind. But
For sure.
I think maybe a good stun can secure a good double LB.
Ooh, it'll be tricky. Alucard getting very low. No defensives left. The Tactician is going to wear off. He does go for that cheeky ranged LB, but it hits everyone! Yo!
It hit all people. Insane. That was a good LB.
This is like the opposite of what usually happens with ranged LBs, where it just doesn't hit anyone. So much value out of this. The Skyshoe now being pressured down on the wrong side of the arena. Nowhere to run, and down he goes. 25 medals left before a 600. Getting a little bit of pressure here. Is forced to pop that protect. But the tank LB does come out from using it as well. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication. I don't really like stacking those. They're quite strong on their own, but the death matching that's occurring here. They're probably just going to go for Lorelei one more time. The feint has been applied. Alteria going ham. And down Lorelei goes. The six-sided star secures the victory. 2 victories so far for the side of restart.
People are quite holding better against the restart team, although there's so much damage and pressure coming out of Alteria.
For sure. Look, and as well, I want to point out the damage coming in from the Machinist. Obviously, the limit break did have something to do with that, but even still, both Machinists are outputting a fair amount of damage and outputting pressure. But Alucard's positioning is what sets him apart so far. It's very, very, very good. And so far, I like what's happening here. Unfortunately, in true Feast fashion, they can't count. So there's still a game to play.
Wait, they left?
They left.
Oh, damn. This is some roller coaster tonight.
I can't. This is... Send help. 1, 2, 3 help. Oh my god. How does this happen? I mean, it's okay. It's fine. I have difficulty counting too sometimes, so...
I blame Square Enix for crashing your sound. It's all start because of that damn sound problem.
I mean, yeah, honestly. Oh, it's fine. It happens. But we're back in for the potentially final match of this set. Any changes to note? Not particularly. I think Gina has opted for the Bloodbath. Maybe I wasn't really paying attention beforehand. I actually do like the recoup on Alucard. I think that this is actually pretty good. Especially against a warrior. Though Holmgang hasn't really happened as of yet.
Yeah, definitely recuperate, relieves a bit of stress, can keep you alive for a little bit longer, and even pays off over time with a lot of healing.
For sure. And since you don't necessarily need all that much lockdown with the bind, especially because you have a Gunbreaker, and Gunbreaker can apply Area of Effect Heavy, Area of Effect Bind, you might lose value out of your own bind if you overlap it by mistake. So having the Recuperate, giving yourself some extra survivability, especially on a squishy class like Machinist.
Yeah, as a Machinist you want really to get in and also try to get off your knockback and the debuffs that everyone takes increased damage. So it doesn't really matter if they're really running away because you're so close anyways.
A lot of buffs going out. Not much occurring on either side. Wasn't able to get to the burst target in time, so that Riddle of Fire was unfortunately a bit wasted. And of course, Six-Sided Star is incredibly powerful. It is an on-demand 2,400 potency attack, but it doubles your GCD. And now Lorelei getting very, very low. It does just get completely busted open.
Still, I love the early protect Lucy did to prevent an early death. Now, of course, Restart would be capitalizing on that and burst on a later point. And now they are kind of rolling. But I think they are improving People's Hunt.
For sure, for sure. I mean, they're lasting. They're getting some parts there, but some of these home gangs, they're not quite there. The first line of sight attempt onto Alteria earlier in the match was very good, but this deathmatching has to stop because it just leaves everybody out in the open, and if you don't have the pressure to stay in the open, you're gonna get run down.
Yeah, good reprisal used to keep Gina alive and relieve some pressure. Now I think Alteria going for the crates to secure a good kill on the Warrior for maybe another 600.
Now the Wildfire going out onto Alucard. He's getting very, very low. Does get knocked back by the blank, but the counter burst is just so good. Lorelei going immediately down. Now another follow-up Wildfire from the side of Restart onto the Monk. Getting very, very low, just barely surviving. 268 health, 741!
Oh, the blood buff is keeping him alive too. It's so well timed.
Oh, it's just holding on for dear life, but now that Bloodbath is down, it's going to be very, very difficult. Riddle of Earth was also used. Now the feint coming out from Alteria onto Gina, plus the burst just barely holding on. How many more close calls are you going to get? But now the Wildfire. I think this is the curtain call for this Monk. Oof.
That's a pressure game. That's a big pressure game. Even though they had no defensive anymore, no bloodbath and such, and they both were desynchronized, they still managed to kill because there's just so much pressure by just standing in the base, fighting there all day.
Whoa, this guy shoe went down to double digits probably and just barely survived. I like the pressure they're outputting, but I don't agree about going for Sky. You know, never mind. It's fine. Whatever I was gonna say, it doesn't matter. It's fine.
I was thinking they were going for the 600. A lot of pressure were always coming into Sky, trying to get out of the defensive and then switch on the Warrior. So it was a good call, and you can clearly see the improvement of Alteria.
It was. Honestly, it was less close than I initially anticipated it to be. I thought that it would be more evenly matched, but Alteria actually kind of just, well, held W really good, and people died, and that's feast for you. Also, Alucard has to get a special mention because this is exactly how you want to play Machinists. You want to be up in their face. You want to give them absolutely no opportunity to breathe, and that's exactly what you do. You use your Bioblaster on cooldown, you get that pressure out, the 10% damage vulnerability onto everybody on the enemy team. Suddenly they're scared. Suddenly they might have to change their pants. And once you follow that up with a concentrate drill, ooh! Oh, it's so much damage.
Someone's just bound to die. So going to the next match, for the last match of the day, what do you expect the outcome to be?
Well, this one's gonna be interesting. We're gonna get to see Sister Rosaria's Holy Rubes once again versus People's Hunters. It's not a great matching, to be quite honest. I think that with the way that the kiting is happening on People's, Sister Rosaria's should have a lot of freedom to do what they want, and you know, you need to be able to have a response to the pressure, and especially with the Scholar, it can be very, very difficult if you're being overrun by pressure, because you want to get broils out to build gauge, to use Dissipation. Dissipation is what makes you incredibly powerful. But when you don't have Dissipation, and you don't have the gauge for it, and you're not even given the time to breathe to cast Royal, you're going to be on the back foot very, very quickly, and it's going to be very hard to get back out. Of course, it will be, it'll be tricky, but I am hopeful that they will be able to, the People's Hunters will be able to last a fair bit of time. They might even get a few kills, and I'm hoping that they do. The more that they play against such, against pretty good players. I myself know I played against this team yesterday in my own team, the lads, and we had some difficulties. So any experience is good experience.
Definitely, and these kind of games you just want to collect as much for later on when you play against more experienced teams that you are ready to face them.
Of course, as well, with the other unfortunate disadvantage of having a Scholar is that you lose out on the incredibly powerful ability from White Mage, Dia. An on-demand, ranged ability that costs 1000 MP and gives you a 10% damage vulnerability for 15 seconds. That's
why you
insane.
get so much damage for your team and overall your own damage. Sometimes you see White Mage just going up to 100k damage just because of Dia and the size and all this damage that stacks up. It does produce so much pressure.
And especially because Scholar lacks the big offensive burst options that Astro or White Mage have. White Mage has, of course, Afflatus Misery. Very, very powerful. Area of Effect 2400 potency spell when you use up 3 lilies. Which is really hard to do. And good lily management means that you have that a lot, and you can use it a lot. And sometimes you can even use it pretty much one after the other. And, of course, Astra with Gravity, 3,200 potency in an AoE, depending on how much health the enemy has. That's pretty good. It starts to lose value the lower health people on the enemy team are, but it's still there. Scholars have Aura Blast, which is good for building gauge primarily, but its range is not great at all. So you actually have to be a lot more aggressive on Scholar to get the same kind of mileage out of it as the other 2 healers.
Yeah, I can agree completely. As we are also getting ready for the next match, we will be representing the upcoming teams now again.
For sure, for sure. Let's get a quick reminder of who each team is. First of all, let's take a look at People's Hunters once more. And of course their opponents polling to bring back Sister Rosaria's holy boobs. Papa bless. there we have it. Very dynamic intro video, that one. I don't know, there's something about it. But we'll be loading in to, once again, not Crystal Tower, but Lichen Weed. I hate this map. I really do. This is an awful map.
The hatred is undeniable there in your voice.
It's the worst. This is the worst map. This is just the worst map. Yeah, you can disagree, but you're wrong. It's so very open, and especially against a team like Sister Rosaria's, it's going to be so difficult. Dragoon has so much agency. Think about how dominant Dragoon is in Crystal Tower. A relatively small map by comparison to this and Feasting Grounds. And here, when you have so little cover, it's borderline impossible to do anything, especially Dancer Dragoon, insane pressure comp.
Definitely. Just going in and in and in. But Ochako going for also Scholar with Nakrissa on Dark Knight with Weapon Throw and Retaliation on Literary.
Honestly, Retaliation could be big brain because, like we just mentioned, because there's so few places to hide. If Nakrissa ever does get attacked, it's going to be big value. But they're not wasting any time going straight onto Gina, forcing out the Riddle of Earth and the Protect. And there was even a Shake It Off as well. But now, it's just a matter of... It's a pressure game. Lucy's trying to get the value out of those broils, able to get some amount of healing there. But the tree was acting as line of sight. The Riddle of Fire goes out. Who's he gonna go on? He gets stunned. The Purify was used on him, but it was before the stun, and down Gina goes.
Yeah, a lot of pressure coming out. Not needing real burst. They stand behind and throw their talons just into the enemy team, and it's enough to bring down. Now they are pushing right into the base. It will be really hard to try to push out again, and it drains a lot of resources just standing there.
For sure. The weapon throw actually coming in to pull Lorelei in. Going so low as 191. Still just barely staying alive. Stay close to that healer. Don't you line of sight.
Great protector, keeping a little bit longer alive. Hopefully managing to heal that pressure.
Oh, but it's so difficult. It's only a matter of time. Lucy does get the focalization out, but the Adlo's coming out so slowly compared to the damage. It's only a matter of time. Ooh. It's rough.
At least they hold their ground. Even though they were quite low, they were still trying to push. I can respect that. Because you don't want to get pushed all the way into the base. But using that opportunity, that invulnerability, you can now get an easy counter kill.
Indeed, but with how stacked everybody is, Deca just walked up, got a massive technical finish off on everybody. Huge value for themselves, lots of gauge and lots of damage, and Lucy getting so very low. You still have the Protect comes out as she dies. That's
There's
so
just
unlucky.
nowhere to go. There's just nowhere to go. That's why this map is so disgusting. Rough.
Because even in Feasting Grounds, if you retreat to your base, you at least still have somewhere to go. You retreat to your base here, you're screwed. But
So
matching that pressure is so tricky. And you really have to try as hard as you can to push back out, to get out. Even if you're not doing damage, just run out, run away from there so that you have options available to you.
Trying to utilize the Warmare, cuddling there, running around together with your team, some merry-go-round, and you might do much more better than hanging out at the tree, getting pushed back into your base. I want to see more utilization of these huge wards.
For sure. And even the smaller trees that can also offer an interesting merry-go-round style line of sight option for both teams. We are going to have a few job switches here. Chris is going to be switching with Deca onto their There's actually going to be a lot of changes here. Ura is going to go to Monk from Dragoon, Nakrissa is going to Black Mage from Dark Knight, and Dekka is going from Dancer to Dark Knight. So the same tank healer combination, which is actually a pretty old school thing.
The mitigation team.
There used to be a heal down meta, and it's still kind of there. It's just you just don't tend to see Dark Knight and Scholar together anymore because they're quite a lot weaker than they were previously. But even still, Edge of Shadow plus Biolysis is a lot of healing down. And that level of debuff, especially against a Scholar, is absolutely painful to deal with.
I wish they would go for Dekka in this moment. If they were a little bit more experienced, they would know Dekka is quite squishy with these additions without Reprisal and Rampart. You should be tunneling them down.
There you go, that's that tree usage I wanted to see, but how long is it going to keep you alive? The Protector's up, does get fainted into there, the Nascent Flash and Adlo as well, the Bloodbath. Maybe it's not putting in as much work as you would hope to. That's right, don't run into the base. Riddle of Fire coming out, trying to go for a counter burst, but he does get immediately stunned by Dekka. Great peel, and it results in a very quick kill.
Yeah, unfortunate that X-Corp going out on themselves a little bit late, and now they're really crumbling again with how much a Monk and a Black Mage can dish out in the open like that.
Indeed, and another thing to note that doesn't often come up because we just don't tend to see very many Dark Knights is they have a lot of damage. They have a lot more damage than people actually think, especially with the Blackest Knight. When it pops, you get a free use of Edge of Shadow. Edge of Shadow, not as strong as it used to be, but still can't ignore its damage. 1,200 potency, especially with that Dark Side buff active as well. And their Gap Closer, Plunge, resets on a takedown. So
it's even more fun because they are brawling in the base. They are also close. And just the Dark Knight AoE is so strong there.
Absolutely, and especially because it also regenerates mana, it regenerates health. It's huge value if you can hit more than one target. They're wasting no time.
Down. They're falling back, I guess. Maybe trying to get the crates there, or they are having some kind of mercy.
I like this. They're pushing out. They're giving some space for the people that are respawning. Unfortunately, the CC onto Lucy is just really well timed, and it results in another 600 for the side of Sister Rosaria's. But already, Peoples are playing better. Every single game, they're playing better and better.
Yeah, considering it is such a difficult map to play on, especially on a Scholar, I can only respect the improvement of Lucy in these maps.
This composition is so terrifying, actually. If Dark Knight wasn't as typically weak as it is, in most cases, or considered by most people, then this would be an absolutely viable comp for the majority of cases. I think in fringe cases, this is also a very, very strong composition. Of course, the heal down, the healing debuff, the healing penalty debuff from Biolysis, from Scholar, from Edge of Shadow, from Dark Knight, coming together, really impacting that. And then you have the incredibly strong oppressive burst from Monk plus Phantom Dart from a caster. It's just nasty. Like, you see that team you're cowering. I would be cowering.
It would be great to see a good team, experienced team trying to pull that kind of combination off and showcasing what you meant. Right now we see a switch, Nakrissa going on Monk. I would have loved if Dekka went for heal and Ochako for Dark Knight, so everyone gets to play at once.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to have as much fun with this as possible, but maybe they also could be trying to get, rouletting may sometimes be interpreted as being kind of like bad manners, but oh my god, woof, wow.
Yeah, the pot wasn't used properly, so the kill was really quick. It was a good protect this time, I appreciate that.
The sleep, unfortunately, onto Lucy meant that there wasn't really much that they could do. Lorelei giving Lucy the runaround. around that tree. Unfortunate, because it's so hard to heal when that line of sight is happening. Lucy, good positioning, trying to stay far away so that not hit with unnecessary damage or crowd control, which is good. Dark Missionary does come out for the side of Sister Rosaria's, trying to mitigate as much damage as possible. The Wildfire did go onto Archer, but it didn't really do much. And now Skyshoe trying as hard as possible to survive. Spam that AoE! Spam that AoE! The Protect does come out as well, but it's too little, too late.
Yeah, Ochako having a great time just broiling their time away, getting all the stack and last trade, and keeping that Scholar running. If you manage to hold up that pressure and you can just spam your broil, you are feeling really good as Scholar.
And this is really not something that you ever want to see. HP restored 0. It's already something that you don't want to see on its own, but especially when, you know, 3 people. Okay, well, maybe not this last name. The last name doesn't count because that's who are on the other side. But to have both DPS not use their pots is really, really unfortunate. Even still, they did end up getting better each time. We can see the progress that's being made.
Yeah, I was excited for these matches were still great to see, especially because we got to see so many different maps, and I think Crystal Tower was only once, right? So it was an exciting day for off-meta kind of playstyle.
And as I was saying before, you know, before death suddenly appeared. So something that is often happens is if an enemy team starts to, you know, roulette jobs, change their comp around, go back and forth, it can sometimes be interpreted as a as kind of like a mean-spirited thing, but a lot of the time that's not the case, and playing on a different role than what you're used to gives you an insight into how the game looks from that job's perspective, or that role's perspective. Because a lot of the time, and it's something that unfortunately can't be conveyed perfectly, even you know, from our part, from the spectator seat, is it's so different. If you had a team and you had everybody record their own perspectives, every game would look completely different from one another. Everyone's focusing on different things. Everyone's looking at different places. It's very good to sometimes do that and experience it in another role's shoes.
Yeah, for every new player, I just also can just recommend going to the job description page and read the PvP actions of other classes you don't play and kind of understand what they do. You get so much insight and immediately even improve a little with what you really know.
For sure. Especially because it's kind of a tough love situation when you go up against a team that, you know, is better than you. Yeah, you're probably gonna get rolled, but if you can recognize why that happened and how you can fix it, you're already doing better than 90% of other players.
Yeah, I can only agree with that.
But with that, those are all of the games for today. We had some pretty interesting matches. We had some upsets. Trois Poussons, of course, did show up quite well in their first game against Icarus, holding out for a very, very long time, even securing quite a few kills for themselves. It was actually a lot closer than I anticipated. I'm really, really happy to see it.
Yes, some technical difficulties, but we got over them and finally got to see every match without interruption. And it was really a blast to be able to cast with you today, and I enjoyed having a lot of fun watching and commentating on these.
Likewise, it's always a pleasure. It's shaping up to be a very interesting tournament. The further it goes, the more interesting it becomes. So it's good. I'm very happy with how the games turned out, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it progresses. I am, of course, not looking forward to having to fight Aftermath because, or Aftermath even, or actually all of the above. Not looking forward to it. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of practice, and to try and not make a fool of myself on stream. But every court needs its jester.
You would. I believe in you. I will be cheering for you. Definitely. I think you will manage to pull off amazing Dragoon gameplay.
Oh God.
Secure plenty of wins.
Well, now I really have to try. But with that out of the way, I think next tourney day should be. I think. Yeah. There we go. Friday. The 21st of May.
21st of May, indeed. Until then, it's going to be hard now with the season end. But there's plenty of opportunity now with Light and Chaos popping like wild. You up, practice. Uriel will be there. Barney will be practicing their Dragoon. Keep him company.
Indeed. As a wise man once said, make light pop tomorrow.
Make like the pop.
It is for those that are frequent solo queue. This coming week will be blind week, so this is the final week of this season. If you want to secure a position in the top 100, then make sure to queue up and get as far as you possibly can. I'm expecting it to be quite active. But until then, a very big thank you to everybody behind the scenes, to Noah, to Meryl for organizing all of this, for actually chasing people down, making it as smooth as possible. Big thank you, obviously, to Laurie for joining me today, for the other commentators, Levine and Lolaray. It's always a blast working with you guys. Kiwi and Dane for all of the assets, for all of the motion design. Absolutely stellar job, fantastic in every regard. Wishing Dane well. Hopefully he'll be back to his regular self and spamming out copy pastas like it's nothing very, very soon. So yeah, it's been fun. Woo!
And of course, thanks to everyone participating, making this possible, and everyone contributing to the prize pool. It wouldn't be possible without you guys.
Absolutely. The community really showed up, and it's wonderful to be a part of this. And to, I mean, you hate to reference the meme, but I'm so proud of this community. It's been a blast. But until next time, I think we'll stop right there, and obviously check out PvP Revival. Rival Wings, something that is a lot more active now, especially with the Tom event, I believe. So give it a look and spread the word, spread the love.
Yeah. Yesterday I played my first game of Rival Wings. Really enjoyable game mode. It's like Frontlines, but with an objective, I guess. Play it. Figure it out yourself. Join the Discord or something. Get some friends in.
Yes.
Enjoy yourself.
Plug.
Until then, see you guys on the next tournament day.
Farewell. Good night.